Do you feel like a round peg in a square hole trying to get your kids custom education and you can't figure out which school to send them to? Boise is the place for you, because you might even be a round peg in a square hole because you're in another state trying to make that work for you. Come to Boise, come enjoy all the options that are education here in the Boise Valley. We're gonna dive into all of those right now. The great thing about Idaho's education, and particularly Boise's education, is that you get choice for your kiddos. Doesn't matter if it's kindergarten or 12th grade or in between. You can choose private, public, charter, magnet, homeschool, alternative school. Those choices are yours. There can even be a hybrid done between those. The first one we're going to talk about is charter schools. Charter schools require a lottery to get in. They're usually geographically based because they're a little bit more popular. What happens is the school building and the property are bought with private funds, and then they write a charter that fits that school specifically. When you go to that school, adhere to that charter. That charter will look different than a private school or will look different than a public school. That charter will dictate the rules that govern that school. There are some funds from the state that go to a charter school. Our kid, for example, when we lived in Eagle, got accepted to North Star Charter School a week into the school year. We were taking her to Star Elementary for a week, which is like 5 miles away. North Star was in the neighborhood, so when we got accepted, we bolted from Star Elementary, put her in North Star Charter, and it was there an awesome school. We primarily went there first because of the location, and then we found out how good the education was. We absolutely loved it. Those schools are run by an independent board. Magnet schools are very similar. You might have to have a lottery to get into those schools as well because of their popularity. They usually focus on one theme. STEM schools are the most popular. There is science, tech, engineering, and math for STEM. There are other schools that follow the arts. The magnet school is run by the school district funds. It's just specifically tailored to one line of thinking or more skewed towards that line of thinking. Magnet schools serve a great purpose. They can be K through 12. I didn't say this about charter schools, but those can be K through 12 as well. Now you compare the charter and the magnet schools to a private school. Private school is private money. That money funds the schools, the land, the teachers, the books, everything, right? So those schools can rack up the costs. I think we understand what a private school is because they're pretty prevalent. The largest private high school in Boise is a school called Bishop Kelly. It's located in Boise right next to Bora High. That's a very popular choice for students who want a private education here in the Boise Valley. When it comes to public schools, there are some differences between school districts. Boise School District is open enrollment for the high schools. You'll have to check on the middle school and elementary, but for the high schools, it's open enrollment, so you can go to any high school you want. That makes it interesting for sports and recruiting, topic for another day, but Boise schools are open enrollment for high school. When it comes to West Ada, that is not open enrollment, and the Nampa, Caldwell, Middleton school districts, those I don't believe are open enrollment either. Guys, my name is Brian Hymas. Been doing videos for the last long while and also been selling real estate for the last 6-7 years. Was an appraiser before that for a few. I love all things real estate and love all things Boise. If you are coming to the Boise Valley, please, 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 there's no greater compliment that I receive than phone calls, texts, emails from you and the dozens of others that have come here using the Buying in Boise Blueprint, which is tried, tested, and proven. It will help you not miss out on a home, not overpay for a home, and not buy a lemon. You don't want any of those things. You want to get the home of your dreams, and that process will help you narrow that down. Give me a call, text, or email, and we will get you started on the Buying in Boise Blueprint. You don't have to have a college education or a degree to teach your kids or a high school, secondary education type degree. If you do want to be reimbursed for supplies or curriculum or books or things like that, iPads, laptops, you can do so if your student has student-teacher conferences with a certain teacher. So you get assigned a teacher who you meet by Zoom and make sure you're learning the right stuff. Make sure you're mastering those concepts. If that's the case, you actually can get thousands of dollars of materials and books and laptops and iPads reimbursed each year. Also with homeschool, you can do dual enrollment. So if you do dual enrollment, you can actually choose to have your kid home for a certain amount of hours each day and then at the school for a certain amount of hours each day. Dual enrollment allows homeschoolers to do the curriculum of their choice, the time of their choice, the schools of their choice a little easier than you think it might be 20 years ago. Alternative schools are very good for that kid that needs a little extra nudge in the discipline arena. Some of those kids are troubled, some of them just need a little extra nudge. So alternative schools, don't forget about those ones. Those ones can be a very good option for your kid if that's where he or she is at. The biggest group of growth that we've seen in the education system is in the last 10 or 15 years with homeschooling. Way more popular than it used to be. I know there was a certain event a few years ago that made mothers start doing homeschool with their kids because heck, they were home anyway now because of that huge event. And now they were able to just transition in nicely to being a homeschool parent. I know that's what my wife did, and because of that, we've met plenty of other people who've done the same. Homeschooling can be done by anybody. And for a bonus, we did not talk about colleges or university across the state of Idaho. The most common public universities and colleges across Idaho. Number one, for sure, Boise State. Then you've got U of I up in Moscow, and you've got Idaho State over in Pocatello. North Idaho College, College of Western Idaho, College of Southern Idaho, Eastern Idaho Tech in Idaho Falls, and you've got private schools from BYU Idaho, College of Idaho, NNU. You usually have a variety of options to keep your kid in state if that's what you choose. Awesome options for public, awesome options for private. The best thing about schools in the Treasure Valley is school choice. You have to embrace that. It's awesome. The state lets you go where you want to go, teach what you want to teach, have your kids learn what you want them to learn. They're very big into that. School choice is huge. You can choose the way they're taught. You can even take them as far as homeschool with not being regulated, with making sure the homeschool moms have or dads have a education to do such. School choice being a huge factor in why Idaho and Boise schools absolutely are awesome. If you're looking for a link for these schools or school districts, you can find those links in the paragraphs below. If there's anything I missed when it comes to these schools, I try to do a good brief overview, cover all the details. If there's anything I missed, please add to the comments. I'd love to respond to those and maybe improve the videos in the future. If you're looking to come to Treasure Valley and you feel like a round peg in a square hole, guys, my name is Brian Hymas. There's no greater compliment I received than getting phone calls, texts, emails from one square peg to another. My number is 208-213-2092, and I love helping you guys come to the best state on earth. If education is the question, this video is for you. If you have more questions about Idaho, you'll want to check that video out right there. But the best part about Boise's education is school choice. And remember, if you need the Buying in Boise blueprint, call, text, email 208-213-2092 or email me, brian@brianhymas.com, and we will get you started on the tried, tested, and proven methodology of Buying in Boise blueprint to get you the house of your dreams and the budget you need in the place you want so that you can make all your Idaho dreams come true. The great thing about Idaho's education, compare that to public schools, when it comes to public schools in Boise, when it comes to West Ada, that is not